Hello, everybody. Today we are going to talk about one very important thing about practice in stenography. The universe of words is very big. Practice to every type of material that you can get your hands on. You don't need to pay for practice material. I never paid for any of my practice material. I just watched TV and used 5 hours a day of TV to practice. Then I would get audiobooks for free on the YouTube channel Greatest Audiobooks. As well, I would get free magazines from the bins at Saratoga Library Magazine Exchange, where people would drop off their unwanted used magazines and other people could come get them for free. There I found trade magazines from every imaginable field to practice from. And it was very interesting to see what people in that town like to read. Articles Googled off the internet of interest to me were also used for practice. Why is it important to do this as a stenographer? Because you never know what words will come up on a job. And you can't very well say to the client, "Hey, I'm not familiar with that word. Please say something else." You have to type what you hear. You really never know what will come up on a job. Early in my career, there was a job I took, cart captioning for a deaf and hard of hearing organization. They were impressed with my real time and towards the end tried to stump me with supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. When that correctly came up in real time, they tried again to stump me with shiitake mushrooms, which also came up correctly, at which point they were surprised and pleased with my performance. I was as surprised as they were that those words came up in real time. A second story I'll tell you will drive home the point why you should practice whatever words are out there in the universe of words. Even after you get certified as a CSR reporter for California, you might still be on a job and not be able to do it if words come up that you're not familiar with typing. That's the case when I heard a lawyer tell me once that he hired a court reporter who did not do a good job and could not produce the record verbatim. He was unhappy with her performance. That was shocking to me, as she must have had her certification to be able to even accept the job. You might be in a high school calculus class, like I was back in the day when I was a 17-year-old kid, and have a teacher tell the following joke to everybody. What is a tree plus a tree plus a tree? While he drew 3 trees on the board and added plus signs between them. 9, he proudly said. Then he said, along comes a cat and pees on each of the 3 trees. Now what does it add up to? And we were all wondering what he was going to say. Well, he said, dirty tree plus dirty tree plus dirty tree is 99. And then to top it off, he said a dog came along and dropped a piece of poop on each of the 3 trees. Now what does it sum up to? And we were all dumbfounded at how this had anything to do with calculus. But he laughed and said, dirty tree and a turd plus dirty tree and a turd plus dirty tree and a turd equals 100. And he was very pleased, while some of us were confused and others were laughing. You just never know what people will say on a job. So be prepared. Practice to everything. I will say, however, I do not approve of practicing to artificial finger twisters like lists of alliterative words. That's a method of practice that's taught in some books that you should do this, and I disagree. Why? Because you'll almost never hear those words in real life in that combination. And it's worthless to practice them in combination like that. Plus, doing so can cause repetitive stress, pain, and carpal tunnel syndrome.
Okay, so you see, it is important to practice as much of everything as you can, and then you'll be better prepared for the job world. Bye, everybody.